Vaccine manufacturers like Pfizer and Moderna continue to refuse to share their formulas with other scientists. In response, a group of South African experts have been tasked by the World Health Organization with reverse engineering our very own vaccine. But new patents granted to Moderna by South Africa are so broad it may threaten a truly African vaccine from ever making it to market. López González is a health journalist and visited this high-tech lab in Johannesburg to find out what is at stake. Laura, thank you so much for your time. So tell us what exactly these scientists are trying to achieve. Are they starting a vaccine from scratch?
Right. So you're exactly right. Moderna, Pfizer, the big mRNA vaccine producers, have not been willing to share their technology with others. In response to WHO establishing what's calling an mRNA hub, the first of many. What scientists are doing, and I spoke to the scientists who are working the first step of this, which is really happening at the Antiviral Gene Therapy Research Unit at Wits University. What they're doing is using the publicly available information from Moderna and also from the Pfizer vaccine, and then doing their own science to create a new mRNA vaccine. So they were very clear that they're not reverse engineering the Moderna vaccine or, for instance, the Pfizer vaccine, but really pulling what's kind of known about all these jabs and then doing some basic science on their own. They say they're actually very far in terms of the first step in that process, which is designing the mRNA sort of sequence they'll be using. There's a couple more steps that happen before they turn that over to Afrigen Biologics and Vaccines in Cape Town, which will be doing the production and then moving into clinical trial testing of that vaccine.
Laura, it seems like there's still a long way to go, but we've heard for a long time that the reason the vaccine was developed so quickly by the likes of Pfizer and Moderna is because the mRNA technology has been around for years. So why does it seem like we are lagging behind?
Right. So again, even Wits University has been working on this technology for almost a decade. And I think the interesting thing is we spoke to Doctors Without Borders. They've actually done a scoping, and what they showed was that Moderna is really relying on contract manufacturing, meaning that they go to people who are producing, for instance, injectable medicines, share their technology, and in some cases, like in Spain, they've been able to start producing mRNA vaccines with those contracted manufacturers in as little as 6 months. Doctors Without Borders saying that there's at least 7 companies on the continent that could have produced an mRNA vaccine in as little as 6 months if Moderna had agreed to share that technology. It's a very attractive technology for Africa. It can be chopped and changed to address different diseases. But what we're also seeing now, as you mentioned, is Moderna has been granted these far-reaching patents in South Africa that really could threaten the production of whatever comes out of the mRNA hub, whatever happens, whatever is the product of what South African scientists are working on now. Doctors Without Borders saying that those patents that have been granted in South Africa were rejected in many other countries because South Africa doesn't do what's called a patent review. So it means that you as a company, or Moderna in this case, submits your paperwork to government, you pay your fee. If all the paperwork's been filled out, then you get your patent. The University of Pretoria in 2011 said that had we reviewed patents as South Africa, we wouldn't have granted about 80% of the patents we have now.
So it really seems like our legislation has really dropped the ball here. So is this vaccine that they're working on in jeopardy? Could this all be for nothing?
I mean, I think we spoke to Afrigen Biologics, Petroterra Ranch, and she said, this patent definitely poses a threat to eventual production. She did say the Africa CDC, Africa Union is looking at ways to kind of get around this, but it's so broad that the patent would prevent Afrigen from doing market authorization and then even just distributing these vaccines. It would also apply potentially to other mRNA treatments that are in their infancy and still in clinical trials. But if those ever came to pass, they might too be blocked by this patent that was awarded to Moderna.
All right, thank you. Not really positive news there, but thank you for your time. Health journalist López González speaking to us on NewsLink.